President-elect Donald Trump putting companies on notice at his first press conference in months. Outsource at your own peril.
There will be a major border tax on these companies that are leaving and getting away with murder.
So far, Donald Trump has successfully convinced a number of corporations, including Ford and Carrier, to keep jobs right here in the United States. And that's good news, right? Or is it? Here was your reaction. TV star and host of the podcast, The Way I Heard It, Mr. Mike Rowe, joining us from Fox 35 down there in Orlando. Hey, Mike, good morning.
How are you, Steve?
I'm doing okay. So what do you make of Donald Trump saying, okay, fine, companies, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you leave and you go to another country, there's going to be a big border tax?
Sounds like he's serious to me. Look, I've said it in a couple of different ways, and I truly believe that you can't underestimate the impact on the mood and the morale of the country and this idea of digging back in and actually making things again. You know,
sure.
It's very, very good. But I do think that maybe it doesn't make perfect sense to penalize companies who don't break the law, who are simply acting in their own best interest. And, you know, I'm not an economist, but it seems like there are always unintended consequences
sure.
to whatever policy that you put in. So, you know, I don't have anything against a company who doesn't break the law, who decides it's in their best interest to make their products elsewhere, any more than I would fault somebody who files for unemployment insurance, who is legally qualified to get it, even though they might not actually need it,
sure.
right? So to me, it's more about the policy, and it's more about having a conversation where everything is on the table, and we're not, you know, vilifying a company who's not breaking the law, but at the same time, trying to reward the behavior that we want to encourage.
I think people like the idea that Donald Trump is actually, in some cases, becoming a negotiator of jobs, not just policy. He's actually sitting down with the guy who runs the company, and he's saying, hey, what can you do for me? How many jobs can I write you down for?
It feels wonderful to imagine those exact conversations going on, and I have no reason to suspect that they're not. But again, above and beyond all of it, it's kind of like the weather in a way. You know, if you walk outside and it's sunny and the breeze is cool, but the sun is warm and the humidity is low, it doesn't mean a good thing is going to happen to you on that particular day,
sure.
but it just feels good,
yeah.
You know, and it feels really, really great as a consumer and a worker to sit home and look at the reports of big, smart people with giant brains sitting down to do something that strikes the average Joe as commonsensical. It just feels good to hear that going on. Peel back the layers and look what's under it. I'm not sure what we'll find, but right now, the weather's kind of nice.
Fair to partly cloudy, although it's always sunny in Orlando where you are. Now tell me about your brand new podcast, The Way I Heard It, over at the Real Mike Rowe on Facebook.
Well, look, I mean, there are no new ideas, Steve, as you know, but Paul Harvey had a good one, you know, 30, 40 years ago. He used to do a show called The Rest of the Story, which are basically 5 or 6 minute mysteries. You know, and they're rooted in biography and history, but I just used to love listening to those because when we got to the end, we figured out, oh, my God, you've been talking about this person, or,
sure.
oh, crap, I've been rooting for the wrong guy for the whole story. So this is called The Way I Heard It. It's the same basic thing. I write them. I take a somewhat different approach, but, yeah, we tested 6 months of them just to see if anybody cared, and we got, like, 40 million hits on it. So.
Whoa.
People called and said, hey, do more. So I'm doing more, MikeRowe.com/podcast. You can listen to them wherever you hear podcasts. But thanks for mentioning that, because I write them on the plane, because there's nothing else to do on a plane, and it's very gratifying to be efficient on a plane.
That's not a dirty job. That's a great job. Mike Rowe, thank you very much.
Yeah. Anytime, Steve. Thank you.